just because it's easy, well, that don't make it better. I wanna dig my hands deep down in the dirt, take a walk along the street if I'm feeling dessert. All of this convenience just doesn't work for me. I wanna play with fire, let me get hurt. Can we take it back to 95, before we had this drama in our lives? Just staring at the screen every day and night. I miss the rush of living in real life. Go get your DeLorean. Just don't bother. I know this all just makes me sound ancient, but sons and daughters, that shit was amazing. Can we take it back to 95, before we had this drama in our lives? Just staring at the screen every day and night. I miss the rush of living in real life. Go get your DeLorean.
Hi, and welcome to my Monday night live stream. Let me do a quick check here if you can hear me. I hope so. It sounds like it's working. Let me see for a second here. Okay, today we are going to talk about, as always, AI, but with a YouTube focus. If you have been on my channel before, you know that I am very interested in the development of AI. I like AI in general, but I am also a bit worried about where it can take us. And I, for one, was very pleased when I saw back in November, I think it was, on YouTube's blog, that they were working on setting up some rules. And 2 weeks ago today, they came out with a blog post where they told us all what this really is going to mean for us as viewers, but also for creators. And today we are going to take a first look at what the blog post say. I have a couple of video clips I will share with you. And I also am preparing a deep dive video for this Thursday, where I will present more examples of what it can mean and talk about some gray areas. So today we do a very first look at the blog post and what they said. So here we are on YouTube's official blog, how we're helping creators disclose altered or synthetic content. And they start by talking a little bit about the background and how generative AI is transforming the ways creators express themselves. So this is a new tool in Creator Studio where us that put up material on YouTube publish our videos. And here they say the reason. That's why we today introduce a new tool in Creator Studio, requiring creators to disclose to viewers when realistic content a viewer could easily mistake for a real person, place, scene, or event is made with altered or synthetic media, including generative AI. We're not requiring creators to disclose content that is clearly unrealistic, animated, includes special effects, or has used generative AI for production assistance. And it builds on the approach to responsibilities from November. So, this is a snapshot from inside the Creator Studio where we upload our videos, and we will have this following question where we have to disclose or not if it's altered. Altered content. Do any of the following describe your content? Makes a real person appear to say or do something they didn't say or do. Alter footage of a real event or place, or generate a realistic looking scene that didn't actually occur. So if any of these three is answered with yes, you have to put a yes down here. And they say the new label is meant to strengthen transparency with viewers and build trust between creators and their audience. And then they go in a little bit more in detail here, using the likeness of a realistic person. And here is the first point I have a question. Is it any realistic person, or is it a known person? And I will show you an example a little later here. Altering footage of real events or places, such as making it appear as if a real building caught fire, or altering a real cityscape to make it appear different than in reality. And generating realistic scenes, showing a realistic depiction of fictional major events, like a tornado moving toward a real town. And in the image here, we can see how it would look on a mobile device. You will have a little added altered synthetic content on here. And then they go on to say that, of course, we recognize that creators use generative AI in a variety of ways throughout the creation process. We won't require creators to disclose if generative AI was used for productivity, like generating scripts, content ideas, or automatic captions. We also won't require creators to disclose when synthetic media is unrealistic and or the change are inconsequential. These cases include clearly unrealistic content such as animation or someone riding a unicorn through a fantastical world, color adjustment or lighting filters, special effects like background blur or vintage effects, beauty filters, and other visual enhancements. And then we have a longer list that we will look at a little later. You will start see these labels roll out across all YouTube surfaces and formats in the weeks ahead, beginning with the YouTube app on your phone and soon on your desktop and TV. And while we want to give our community time to adjust to the new process and features, in the future we'll look at enforcement measures for creators who consistently choose not to disclose this information. In some cases, YouTube may add a label even when a creator hasn't disclosed it, especially if the altered or synthetic content has the potential to confuse or mislead people. Importantly, we continue to collaborate across the industry to help increase transparency around digital content. And then in parallel, as we previously announced, we're continuing to work towards an updated privacy process for people to request the removal of AI-generated or other synthetic or altered content that simulates an identifiable individual, including their face or voice. We'll have more to share soon on how we will introducing the process globally. So let's take a look at the more detailed examples here. Let's start with the things that doesn't require a disclosure. Applying beauty filters, synthetically generate or extending a backdrop to simulate a moving car, using effects to enhance previously recorded audio, or using AI-generated animation of a missile in a video. This does require disclosure. Digitally generated or altering content to replace the face of one individual with another's. Digitally altering a famous car chase scene to include a celebrity who wasn't in the original movie. Simulating audio to make it sound as if a medical professional gave advice when the professional did not actually give that advice. And showing a realistic depiction of a missile fired toward a real city. So what does this mean? Well, there are still a lot of questions what it really means. We can agree on that it directly means no deepfakes, no pretending that a famous person said something specific. They are also in this beginning, especially talking about 3 areas: news, medical events, political videos. So I want to share with you now a little clip here from a video on Creator Insider. Hi, Marcel, welcome. This is 2 short clips from this video, and I will later on add the link in my description. But here is YouTube's liaison talking to the head of security in... Oh, wait, let me double check here so I really have the audio on, because that is important in this I didn't have it on. Now it's on. Okay, here we go. First clip.
YouTube Studio. Can you tell us a little bit more about all of these updates and why YouTube is doing them?
Sure. There's a lot of excitement around AI, and I think we at YouTube are also really excited about the potential it has to really enhance creativity on YouTube. But of course, teams like mine, we worry about all the risks that might come from AI. And so we want to make sure we're appropriately balancing the innovation and the risks. So with this launch, what we're asking creators to do is actually disclose when they have made meaningful alterations to realistic content. The reason that we're asking for this is actually when we went out and did a bunch of research with viewers, they told us they wanted to know when content had been altered in meaningful ways like this. And so to try to build trust with our viewers, we're asking creators to help with that disclosure.
So just to be clear, we're asking creators to self-disclose and label content when it's altered or synthetic. YouTube isn't labeling content just all across the platform.
We're not labeling content all across the platform. However, when maybe a particular piece of content that has been altered in a meaningful way is brought to our attention, YouTube may apply a label in that case, even when the creator hasn't disclosed it.
How can creators go about labeling our content and tell YouTube that it's all?
Okay, there we had the first little clip I wanted to share with you. And as you can see, she very much said that this was a wish from the audience, that the audience wanted to know. I don't know how sure she was about that and how they researched that. I am, as a creator, I say, go for it. I have nothing against disclosing when I use altered material or AI created material. But there are a few things missing in this, and I will come back to that after we have looked at what they say is considered altered material.
Is what's considered realistic altered content?
Yeah, we know that many creators use editing in their content. And so, of course, you may jump to the conclusion, oh, a lot of content is altered in some way. We're not looking for people to disclose any alterations they make to their content. Really, we're looking for what we're calling realistic and meaningful or significant edits. Maybe you try to depict something that has happened in the real world and you modify that to make it look like something occurred that didn't actually occur. Those are the kind of edits we're looking for creators to disclose.
Yeah, and along those lines, inconsequential changes. Creators love doing things like 4K upscaling or just using AI to clean up an audio track that doesn't sound crystal clear, or maybe putting on a beauty filter because some of us wake up looking like this.
Yeah, so those kinds of inconsequential edits, again, are things that we don't think change the meaning of the content and therefore would not be things that we expect creators to disclose.
All right, so from the viewer's side, once the creators do these disclosures, how will they appear in the product?
Yeah, great question. So yeah, we're asking.
Okay, now back to a couple of questions that I have. I will share with you right now a video, a short of myself that I have created. And let's take a look. Consciousness from the realms of Star Trek to our current reality. In Star Trek, we met Data, an android bursting with curiosity and logic, but always exploring what it means to be human. Fast forward to today, where AI isn't just a dream, but a part of our daily lives. Yet we're still grappling with the big questions about consciousness and how close are we to creating a mind like this? Can AI truly understand emotions, or is it mimicking what it learns from us. And with AI's growth, we face ethical dilemmas. How do we ensure these advancements benefit society while respecting individual rights? So what do you think? Are we on the path to creating an AI with consciousness like data, or is it a journey far beyond our current horizon? Okay, I'm sorry that I accidentally turned on the video again. This little video I'm sharing with you here, I did not film. It is my voice, and I recorded the audio. But the video is all AI created. And this is one of the cases where I am not sure if this would fall under person, what was it they said? Using the likeness of a realistic person. This is created by a AI app called Hey Jen. I have created my avatar there that can be used for any content. I can also, even though the voice I have created on Hey Jen isn't totally right, it's a little too upsped for sounding like me. So up to now, when I have used that avatar, I have always recorded the audio. But the AI is creating me. So what you see here, where is it? Here next to me is an AI created version of me. Should that be, if I upload this to YouTube, should I mark this as altered content? I don't mind doing it. I don't make it a secret that this isn't the real me, even though it's based on the real. But another thing that I think would make it James says, looks good. Hard to tell. It isn't you. It is. I mean, if I put the same shirt on as sat here, I think the lighting is a little different in my live stream and in that video, but it's hard to say. What I wish, instead of just being able to, let me show you this again. I'm hiding behind it. Instead of just doing this, altered content, do any of the following describe your content. And they have these 3 points. Makes a real person appear to say or do something they didn't say or do. Well, I can argue that I actually said this. But what if I hadn't used an audio and uploaded that? If I had written this, which I can do in that app, and used the AI created voice, well, I guess then I have to say yes, it contains altered content. But would that, what I think would be helpful is if I could specify what part of my video was using altered content. If I could write somewhere here, or say yes and put a timestamp where the altered content is. Because right now, I can only say yes or no. And if it is, say that I create a 10-minute video and I have used 30 seconds of altered content, I still have to answer yes. And from a viewer perspective, if the reasoning behind this is to clarify and be transparent for the user, that would give the user the wrong impression, because it doesn't tell the viewer that 30 seconds of this 5-minute video or 10-minute video is altered content. It just tells the viewer that it contains altered content, like you see here. Let's make this a little bit larger. Altered or synthetic content. So I would prefer if I could add a timestamp and maybe a little comment. In this case, I could say that the avatar is AI generated and just put in the timestamp for where the altered content is. Let's go back to the other page where they are more specific here. Examples of content creators don't have to disclose. Creators don't need to disclose unrealistic content that's altered or synthetic, or edits to realistic content that are minor. Minor edits are ones that are primarily aesthetic and don't alter the content in a way that could mislead the viewer about what actually happens. For example, someone riding a unicorn, or green screen used to depict someone floating in space. Minor adjustment could be color or lighting filters, special effects filter like adding background blur, production assistance like using generative AI tools to create or improve a video outline, script, thumbnail, title, or infographic. So I can use generative AI to create my thumbnail. Caption creation, video sharpening, upscaling or repair, and voice or audio repair, and idea generations. Now let's look at examples of content creators need to disclose. To help viewers inform about the content they're viewing, we require creators to disclose content that is altered or synthetic when it appears realistic or meaningful. And that's a hard one. Realistic or meaningful is maybe in the eye of the beholder. Synthetically generated music, including music generated, wait, where did I go? Synthetically generated music, including music generated using creator music. So if I have created a little jingle for my videos that I use every time in the beginning, maybe a little 10-15 second jingle, and I have created that using AI. Do I have to disclose? And do I mark the whole video as synthetic? Voice cloning someone else's voice to use it for voiceover. So if I have voice cloned my own voice, that does mean that I don't have to disclose. Synthetical generating extra footage of a real place, like a video of a surfer in Maui for a promotional travel video. Okay, so if it's for a promotional travel video, I have to disclose. What if I have created that little video as a B-roll, as an extra layer to my video? Synthetical generating a realistic video of a match between two real professional tennis players. Okay, here we have a little specific. Two real professional tennis players. So if they are someone that's known or famous in any way, I can't do it. Making it appear as if someone gave advice that they did not actually give. Okay, so if I make it as if someone else besides me gave this advice, I have to disclose. But what if I am the one giving advice, but I used an AI avatar and a cloned voice, but I stand behind that advice? Digitally altering audio to make it sound as if a popular singer missed a note in their live performance. Well, that's when now we are into famous people again, and I can understand that. Showing a realistic depiction of a tornado or other weather events moving toward a real city that didn't actually happen. And this part I can see, because this can create mass hysteria and things if people actually think it's real. Making it appear as if hospital workers turned away sick or wounded patients. Unless it actually happened in real life, of course. Depicting a public figure stealing something they did not steal, or admitting to stealing something when they did not make that admission. And many of these examples, when it comes to make known or famous people do things or say things they didn't do, I understand all of that. And most of this shouldn't even be on the platform in the first place. And that is one of the things I will talk on more on my video on Thursday, where I also will compare this with the terms of service that every creator agreed to. Much of this shouldn't even be on the platform according to community guidelines and terms of service. Making it look like a real person has been arrested or imprisoned. Keep in mind the above list is not exhaustive, so there is more. And here is how to do it. And what happens after we disclose? Well, again, two things can happen. The labels we show for viewers watching YouTube videos on a mobile device, either label in this expanded description field, like here, how this content was made, they have a little blur here. Or if it's in one of the more sensitive fields like news or politics or medical field, it will show up on top here, right on top of the video. Disclosing content as altered or synthetic won't limit a video's audience or impact its eligibility to earn money. And the risk of not disclosing. It can be misleading if viewer thinks the video is real when it's actually been meaningfully altered or synthetically generated to seem realistic. When content is undisclosed, in some cases, YouTube may take action to reduce the risk of harm to viewers by proactively applying a label that creators will not have the option to remove. Additionally, creators who consistently choose not to disclose this information may be subject to penalties from YouTube, including removal of content or suspension from the YouTube Partner Program. So, that is where we are today. And as I said, there are many, many questions. There are many gray zone areas. Should I disclose this? Should I not? And I think this is a first step, which I appreciate, to try and find a way to regulate this AI content that's coming out. And I sometimes myself get really irritated when I see this totally AI created content on YouTube, because it doesn't feel like it belongs here in a way. But this was my little introduction. If you are interested in really diving deep into the topic, comparing it to the terms of service and to the community guidelines for YouTube, come back on Thursday. If you have any specific questions or comments that you want me to add to this, you can either leave a comment on this video, and as long as it is before noon on Wednesday in, let's say, Eastern time, US Eastern time, I will try to add it to my video on Thursday. I will also put a very short little poll on my community tab, just to see how people think about these new rules. Since I am a creator, it's hard for me to really try and think how you as a viewer think about these things. How much do it affect you as a viewer if it says on the video you are watching contains altered content, and that's all it says, nothing more. So if any one of you are interested in joining me to discuss this further tonight, I will put a link in the chat. Thank you, Marcel. I do strongly believe that this is a step in the right direction. without a doubt. I think we need to regulate how we allow generative AI to add content to YouTube. I think it's also a thing that needs to be regulated legally, not the YouTube itself, but how we need some framework for what we will allow AI to do and where it can be allowed to function. But until we have that, I think this is a really good first step. Nobody wants to be misled or lied to. And I see it as a lie if everything is fabricated. AI can be scary. I agree, Marcel. I, for one, is a nerd, and I love the possibility that AI gives us for being creative. And I think there are so many things. Just take the little vertical video I did. If these voice cloning AIs get better and I can manage just to clone my voice so it actually sounds like me, I will give it a couple of more tries. Excuse me. But I think that it can be a tool that can be helpful. Let's say that I have filmed and edit a video and I am ready to upload it. And it's on a time sensitive topic, which everything around AI is really time sensitive because it develops so fast. But something happens and I want to quickly add my opinion or a question or something small. I want to add that to the video. And I don't have a studio. I don't have everything set up for just filming. So if those tools were functioning, if I could clone my voice, so even that functioned, I could just go to that website. In this case, I use HeyGen and quickly write down what I wanted and then have the website create that little part of the video and easily add it into my content. So I think there are possibilities where we can use. I don't think that I would ever create a video from start to end using all AI because that's not why I do videos. But I think there are situations where these tools can be really helpful. But hopefully YouTube will figure this out. And I think for us that have that are creators and have thoughts about it, I think it's important that we express those thoughts so it can be improved. I would love if I could add to that little, yes, it contains added content. If I could add a timestamp and in what way I used altered content. I know that I can do this in the description of my video. But most viewers don't read the description unless I tell them to in my video that I have a link that you should look at in the description. But I don't think that most viewers even read the description of a video if they aren't very, very interested. I know I don't. So that little label can be misleading, even though the thought behind it is to be transparent. And just by adding the timestamp and being able to tell you in what way it was altered, I think it would be very much improved. But that's my thought. You might have other thoughts. But I think what we need to do is express this to YouTube as they are working on developing this. I think they are far from done with setting up rules. And the first step is that we actually learn as much as we can about what is going on. So this today was hopefully my little attempt to get the thoughts starting. And I would love for anybody that has any thoughts, opinions, suggestions to share them with me. And I will try to include that in my more thorough video on Thursday, where I go through this new regulation, comparing it to guidelines, terms of service, and I said guidelines, community guidelines, terms of service, and these new rules. And with that, this was a short live stream, but if you don't have any specific questions right now, I will end this for today, and I will add the video from YouTube creators to the description of this live stream, and I will go and set up my poll on my community tab. All your thoughts are more than welcome. And as always, I have to end with stay curious, stay informed, and be part of the change. Good night, everybody.